camps throughout Israel. Between October 2023 and April 2025, the number of Palestinian political prisoners doubled to nearly 10,000 people. Most of those people are in administrative detention, held without charge. 400 of them are children. Israel is the only country in the world that tries children in military courts. They're tried in a language they can't understand, with no supportive adults and a 99% conviction rate. In all, 360 children were abducted in 2025. We know that some have been bound and beaten in detention. This has to end. Free all Palestinian child prisoners. The conviction rate for Israeli soldiers and settlers who murder or injure Palestinians is 0.4%. The single soldier who was convicted in the West Bank for shooting Palestinians served 3 months community service. For every Palestinian Israel freed in the last ceasefire deal, they detained 15 more. This is the cruel reality of Zionist so-called justice. This week we watched the horrific images of 195 bodies without names, only numbers, released back to Gaza. They had been tortured, some had been executed, some were blindfolded, bound, in various stages of decomposition. Some had ropes around their necks, others were missing teeth or limbs, some had been burned. Over 50 of these poor people were buried unidentified. Dr. Munir al-Bursh of the Health Ministry stated they did not die naturally. They were executed while restrained, a war crime demanding an urgent international investigation. Meanwhile, families desperate for news of their loved ones remain in the dark about their fate. The lack of care, respect and dignity shown to the bodies of these prisoners and the visible signs of extreme torture is an extension of the dehumanisation of all Palestinians by Israel. Living prisoners are emaciated, bruised and psychologically traumatised. The BBC reported Palestinian prisoners released after Hamas frees hostages. Always the disparity. The 35 returned Israeli hostages living in Dead have been humanised in BBC reports. They are named, photographed with loved ones, they have detailed biographies outlining their hopes and dreams. The BBC does not do the same for Palestinians. We do not learn of the healthcare workers abducted from hospitals, of fathers, brothers, sons lifted from black ops sites. We do not learn of the aid workers, teachers, journalists and children stolen from their families and disappeared into Ketziat and Stid Taman in Israel. Nearly 100 healthcare workers are still imprisoned, including Dr. Hussam Abu Safia, abducted while on duty as director of Kamal Adwan Hospital on December the 25th, 2024. 431 healthcare workers were seized by Israeli troops since October the 7th and spent an average of 511 days incarcerated. 5 healthcare workers are still missing, and 5 have died in Israeli custody as a result of Israel's deliberate and systematic ill treatment, sexual abuse and torture of political prisoners. Jewish resistance fighter Jean Amiri was tortured by the Gestapo before being sent to Auschwitz. After the war he wrote, "Those who are tortured remain tortured. Our faith in humanity, already cracked by the first slap in the face, then demolished by torture, is never acquired again." This is the same week that the UK government, and by extension the BBC, worked through the night to facilitate the attendance of Maccabi Tel Aviv fans for an away match at Aston Villa. The UK government cares more about Israeli thugs than their own continued complicity in genocide in Palestine. A government that cares more about appeasing the Israeli lobby than standing up to apartheid and racism. The same week that Unison members were denied entrance to their own conference at the waterfront for showing solidarity with Palestine. Shame! The poster that caused the problem read, "Stop genocide, Stop illegal occupation, stop ethnic cleansing. Some people don't like the truth. Some people would prefer if we were silent. Solidarity with union members and supporters who stood firm in the face of illegal discrimination. This is the same week that Paul Gibbons, Sammy Wilson, David Brooks, and Ben Hall from the DUP, Ron McDowell from the TUV, and Steve Aiken from the UUP are guests of Israel in occupied Jerusalem on a junket to help them understand how to deal with conflict. A fully paid for propaganda tour. An education minister who has nothing to say about 400 Palestinian children imprisoned in Israel, about every school and university in Gaza being bombed, or about Palestinian children being out of school for over 2 years. It should come as no surprise that an education minister who stands in the way of integrated education here should be an honoured guest of an apartheid ethno-state. Israel, the US, the UK government, and indeed some of our own politicians continue to tell us that this is civilization, that they are upholding Western values. If imprisoning and torturing healthcare workers, children, the elderly, the disabled, journalists, an autistic teenager, an old woman with Alzheimer's is civilised, then what the hell is barbarity? And what exactly are Western values? We have some very powerful speakers here today, amazing advocates for Palestine. Our first speaker will be Dr. Azadeh Sarout, who will read an account from Palestinian child Omar Nizar Mahmoud Asfar, who was kidnapped from Gaza and tortured by Israel.
We'll see.
Between 2003 and 2013, over 7,000 Palestinian children were abducted in the middle of the night or while going to school at the Israeli checkpoints. They were tortured, they were beaten, they were sexually harassed, and at times they were raped. In July 2023, 3 months before October 7, Save the Children published a report which showed Palestinian children in Israeli prisons have been consistently reporting experiences of rape, experiences of being beaten and being confined in solitary confinement. We want to know why the mainstream media, and in particular BBC, never reported on the report which was published 3 months before the October 7th. We want to know why the war was silent on October 6th when 156 Palestinian children were in Israeli prisons illegally abducted from their homes, from their schools, and under torture. We want to know why Palestinians are referred as prisoners, while Israelis are referred as hostages. Palestinians are not prisoned because they have done any particular crime. They are not also prisoned because there has been any legal procedure in place. They are basically prisoned because they dare to live on their own land, because they are Palestinians. So they are not prisoners, and Israelis are not hostages. All of them, exclusively, the one which were released in the recent prison exchange, were Israeli soldiers participating in a genocidal project of settler colonialism. I want to end my words by reading a testimony of Omar, a child from Gaza, who was released very recently. Israeli forces detained and tortured Omar for 26 days in a military prison camp. His name was Omar Nizar Mahmoud. He was only 16 years old. He spent days at Detention military detention camp located in the southern part of illegal Israel. After apprehending him near an aid distribution site, he was captured along with other people and taken on 24th of July to solidarity confinement. He was tortured, starved, and had to live deplorable conditions at Saint-Taman. He says, "The memories of my detention plague my nights, and I often awaken to the sound of my own screams, as if I were still confined within those walls. The nightmares are relentless. Every time I shut my eyes, the same faces and interrogations replay in my mind. Israeli forces transferred me outside of Gaza and subjected me to severe tortures for almost a month in violation
English is good.
of any international law. Omar was seeking aid at the distribution site when the soldiers encircled him and took him along with 34 other people. They were made to remove their clothes, leave them with their only underwear, and force them to give away all their belongings, after which they were taken to an army site where they were made to lie on their stomachs while being inspected. Omar was then interrogated and ordered to provide details of his family and relatives. Dissatisfied with Omar's responses, the interrogator subjected Omar to torture. Omar was brought to the roof of the building and tied to a rope, where he was left hanging upside down for an extended period. Later, the interrogator released the rope, causing Omar to plummet to the ground, dropping the height of roughly 5 floors before the rope became taut again, stopping his fall about half a meter above the ground.
I'm not sure if she's
Where
talking
he
about
was left suspended for
Hamas throwing
approximately 20
homosexuals
minutes.
off the roof or what.
The torture caused Omar to urinate,
That's the only people
as he
I
was
know
left
that's been thrown off
struggling to
roofs.
breathe and
It's
suffocating.
homosexuals and people like
He
that.
says, "I felt as though I
He
was
doesn't want to talk about that
teetering
one
on the
today.
brink of death." Omar was released after 26 days of torture, but nobody knows how many more Palestinian children are experiencing what Omar did. Thank you.
Shane. Thank you, Yazideh. Our next speaker needs no introduction. It's Patrick Corrigan from Amnesty. Thanks so much, Patrick.
Thank you. The rain's not going to stop us. We will not be deterred. We will not be silenced. So thank you to the Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign for this invitation to speak. It's much appreciated. And thank you all for standing here today for justice, for humanity, and for those Palestinians whose voices are silenced for now behind prison walls. Amnesty International demands the immediate and unconditional release of all Palestinians unjustly detained by Israel. Civilians, men, women, children, medics, students, and many others trapped in a system that tramples on international law and basic decency. Thousands are being held without charge or trial, including over 100 medical workers. Among them, Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, a paediatrician and hospital director from North Gaza. He treated the wounded under Israeli bombardment. He lost his child, yet kept saving lives, only then to be arrested by Israeli forces. His lawyer has reported that he has been beaten and subject to assault within detention. Dr. Abu Safiya's imprisonment exposes Israel's systematic targeting of healthcare workers and its deliberate destruction of Gaza's healthcare system, calculated to bring about the physical destruction of Palestinians. This is not collateral damage. This is deliberate. This is injustice. This is part of the genocide. unlawful combatants law is being used to detain Palestinians from Gaza en masse, incommunicado, without charge, without trial, and indefinitely. Amnesty International has documented enforced disappearances, torture, and other cruel conditions. Now, as the world talks of peace, we say clearly, with peace must come justice. A ceasefire means nothing if Palestinians remain caged and tortured. Israel is making a mockery of the so-called peace deal while using detainees as political pawns. So we say, free all Palestinians detained without charge or trial, end incommunicado detention, protect medics and humanitarian workers, don't imprison them. To the Israeli authorities, we say this: there can be no just peace while people are locked away without law and without hope. The world is watching and history will judge. To our governments and their allies, silence is complicity. Sustained arms transfers demand accountability, and to everyone here, your voice matters. It always matters and will always continue to matter. Together, we shine light into the prison cell and that affirm that human rights are universal. We will not stop until every illegally held Palestinian detainee is free. Detention without trial and torture must end. Not tomorrow, but today. Because freedom and dignity are not bargaining chips. They are human rights. They belong to everyone. So let's keep raising our voices. Thank you again.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right, we'll go to
Next speaker.
Water's got in. Yeah.
That's a tune, isn't it? That's fucking unserviceable.
Got it wet.
Amateurs, man.
I'm gonna get across this road.
Testing? Alright. The next speaker is Debs from IPSC, who's going to read support.
Connor, Natty, all good, mate?
So, this
First CJ.
I mean, we all have our own battles around us that don't know, don't see, and really
that's
don't
what's
give a
in there.
damn
Well, that's
what's
it, man.
happening. So that's what this is about. I
You wanna
really
do?
don't know what's going on. But let me tell you in
Rob
short,
or something on
this
him? Fucking
painful
too bad for
story.
this shit, man.
When the place where people are virtue are destroyed and slain in the dignity of value. Where the resistance is rooted in the planting of seed and the most basic of living is done on a need. I don't really see what's going on. But
Yeah,
let
we've
me
got a
show
ring
you
we
in
need,
short
mate.
of the feeling of wrong.
We just got our picture taken. I believe.
Oh, that's alright. chat. Want a wee interview?
Guys and dolls, Freedom Dot here, Belfast City Centre. Had a couple of lives rolling. They both went down because of the buildings. Not 100% sure, but we're live here and they're just breaking up. So they are, as you can see. Their sound system got water in it, so they weren't able to use the sound system. So I don't know if they're not able to shout or raise their voices. I don't know, but they've all dispersed. We've got a couple of hardliners here, the usual faces. CJ's here reporting, and yeah, it's just the usual nonsense in the city centre. Lots of foreign flags from many, many miles away from here, but no Irish flags. You know what I mean? That's Freedom Dad trying to bring Protestants and Catholics together. We've got these headers, we've got Sinn Féin, we've got Alliance, we've got the Irish fucking language coming in, we've got our flags getting taken off. It's like constant that we've got to watch and look as us Protestant Unionist loyalists having to look at this carry on, who what represents to us is a support to Hamas, a support to the terrorist organisation, and the romanticism between the Republican movement, i.e. the NLA, who are represented here by the IRSP. So yeah, they're here today as well. We've got plenty of footage, and this is what they do. This is their new war cry. And what's going to happen after this? The next thing will be demos for an All Ireland. And nobody's got the stomach for that in Northern Ireland. Nobody's got the stomach for it in Ireland. And nobody's got the stomach for this nonsense. This is a new time, a new era in Northern Ireland when we're trying to move forward. We're trying to find a way to save what we've got from what's coming, i.e. the invasion of Islam into Great Britain and Ireland. And as we see the desperation of the countries and cities and towns in England, and we see Birmingham being replaced, and all sorts of madness going on in Ireland right now. And that child, as we've seen in the Dublin City Hotel. And, I've got to remind the people that the Irish government bought that hotel off the hotel owners because it would be cheaper to buy it than rent it for 20 years. How many men are they going to put through that hotel to come into Ireland? Fighting age men. And these guys don't care about it. Some of these guys probably don't have children, so they're not invested. They're not invested. They don't care about the future. They only care about the now and tomorrow. You know what I mean? And yeah, Freedom Dad getting a bit of love. And this is what it's about. I know the feeling in the street. Nobody wants this nonsense. People are sick of this, so they are. It's time to knock all this in the head. Stop bringing hatred into our city centre. Stop supporting Hamas because of the romanticism between the Republican movement and the PLO back in the 80s. Supplying with Semtex and weapons to attack the British armed services and the police in Northern Ireland and the civilian casualties. And we just had the Soldier F trial and all about civilian casualties. At the end of the day, guys, this is what I'm trying to say. There's civilian casualties across the board in every conflict. You know what I mean? They are. You look at Enniskillen. You look at Omagh. You know what I mean? You look at all the controversies that's happened with the IRA and the NLA, the IPLO, and all the rest of them. You know what I mean? And we're digging up stuff from the 70s. I think it's time to stop digging stuff up. We've got enough problems on our plate right now, and it's time to stop it all. It's time to stop looking into the past and start looking at the future, because the future is a lot more scarier than the past. And this is what I try to get across to you. If you think the conflict was bad, the Troubles, the hunger strikers, 1916, 1690, Battle of Boyne, the bomb parades, the bonfires. If you think all that's a problem, where do you see what's coming? But this is a problem. Most of you won't see what's coming because you won't be here. It'll be our kids and our grandkids that are going to see what's coming. And this is what we're doing. This is what the parents and the grandparents of Northern Ireland, both Protestants and Catholics, are trying very very difficulty coming together and moving forward as one. Well, we've got division on every quarter, and not just here, not just in my own wee bit, my patriot world. We have nonsense. We have people infiltrating, people working for the police. You know what I mean? Like I say, anybody who goes up against Freedom Dad is an open book. Okay, Freedom Dad is an open book, the most loyal person you'll ever meet, and everybody around me knows that. So if anybody goes up against Freedom Dad, then pay close attention to them. Pay very close attention to them, because see, at the end of the day, this is went on in England. This is exactly why England is the way it is, because the police use infiltrators to come into the patriot movement and cause disruption. Well, let me tell you something. I, Freedom Dad, I'm ready for anybody that wants to come in and cause disruption. I am my own man. I stand on my own, and I'm ready for anything. I've been doing this for a long time, and it'll take a very, very big man to put Freedom Dad down. Please believe me that. I'm here to stay. I ain't going anywhere. And please believe me, I'm not just fighting for my wee daughter, I'm fighting for all your daughters. Pay close attention to what's going on right now. I'm talking to the boys, PUL, talking to you guys. Pay close attention to what's going on. Heads in a swivel and use your nuts. We're clever prods, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here in the city centre. That's why Freedom Dad gets so much love from both sides of the communities, because Freedom Dad is going forward, protecting our children, our cultures, our traditions, our bonfires, and our 12th of July, to make sure they never ever get taken away or destroyed, or anybody comes in this country and replaces us like Birmingham. It's not going to happen, and Freedom Dad's here to make sure it doesn't happen. Freedom Dad with these headers, and as always, guys, God bless.